Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. I am your host, Coach Karena Calhoun. I'm an expert life strategist, and I have a very, very special guest on the show today. You all know all of my guests are special, but sometimes some are just so near and dear to my heart. Today, we have Miss Kimisha King, and I'm super thrilled. Kimisha, how are you today?
Hi, I am super blessed today. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
And I want to make sure Kamisha is the correct pronunciation,
Yes,
correct?
that's correct. Kimisha, yeah.
And the reason why I wanted to do that is because as Karina,
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how many Karens, Katrina, Karena,
They
just
always
all
get
kinds of things.
Mhm.
I'm like, no, it's Karina. So I am very particular about pronunciations.
Yeah,
So, Kamisha, welcome to the show. I know I can feel this is going to be one of those conversations that's going to be so, just the depth of it is going to be amazing. I
yeah.
can feel that. So,
Mhm.
what do you want to share with us today? How are you loving on the world around you?
Ooh, I love that question. So I'm
Thank
loving
you.
on the world around me through my organization. I have an organization called Queen's Mindset, where we cater to women only. I help women to walk in their purpose and birth their vision. So I am definitely every single day looking for ways in which I can help women to become better, to become stronger. And it's really a passion of mine. And the funny thing is, I never recognized that I would have been here, but I was doing it all along without understanding what it was I was doing. You know, when you're that good friend, good listening ear, giving great advice, helping them to navigate life and showing them things. And I didn't know that that was a part of the calling. So I get to do this. I'm still working a 9 to 5, soon about to kick that to the boot. Can't wait. Trust me, I can't wait. But for now, I'm loving on them where I'm helping them to, rediscover themselves. I have something called 7 Days of Intimacy, and this helps women to really dive deep into them, who they are, who they've been called to be, to be able to really fine tune those things. Because sometimes we are so comfortable with being everything for everyone and we forget ourselves. There's no more self-loving. We're not loving on ourselves. We're not catering to ourselves. So I help women to re-navigate that channel of their life so that they can still be in tune with themselves, who they are, who they've been called to be. And also, I am just loving seeing the testimonies that have been coming out of this. I've had women who are wives who are saying, oh my goodness, I never thought this was something I needed. You have these singles, of course, who are testifying to as well of how it really has helped them to birth who they are on the inside. So it has just been an amazing ride. I am definitely enjoying it.
Kamisha, one thing that you said that really stands out to me, everything that you said is just spot on. I love it. But one thing you said that I have not heard in a very long time is women catering to themselves. And when you think about it, everybody is on this self care kick, and that's wonderful. I advocate for that 1000%.
Mm-hmm.
But when you take it to catering to yourself, first, when you think about catering to others,
Yeah.
okay, it is expressly selfless.
Yes.
It is absolutely giving them what they need, what they want, 100%.
That's right.
But then when you flip that and you think about doing that for yourself, that's a whole nother level. I want you to talk about that because
Yes.
that is completely different when you put that into perspective. When you talk about self care, when you think about you and what you need and what you
Yeah.
want,
Yeah.
it's not just one piece, it is the totality of it. Talk about that.
I love what you said because you got it. You got it because I found in helping women because we have a boot camp, all right? And through that boot camp, and I meet with those women and I coach them, a lot of them they're struggling to help themselves because they feel as though they're being selfish. Can you imagine that? Because I have now to say no to some things. And by saying no to some things, they're afraid that persons may think that they're being selfish. So there's a lot of stuff that they're dealing with. And that really goes into the category of insecurities, right? Because you want to be everybody to everyone. And then we're leaving out ourselves, and we're the ones who are suffering because we can't help others if we don't help ourselves first. That's the message they give you when you go on the airplane. Should anything happen, make sure you put the mask on your face first, and then you can help the person next to you. And that's what women have been able to have to learn to deal with. And then they have to be able to identify some of the things that they didn't see as insecurities. Like sometimes, that feeling of guilt, feeling guilty every single time. Why are you feeling guilty? It's okay for you to be celebrated because you have celebrated everyone else. So it's fine that you get an opportunity to be celebrated, to be honored. It does not mean that you're selfish. It means that you are sitting in who you are, and you are comfortable. It does a lot with self-esteem. So when we pull those things out from them, they recognize, wow, I thought I had, a really good self-esteem, but I didn't recognize that my self-esteem was this low because I kept, down shining on myself so that I can help others shine. And if you are like that, then that's really problematic, especially with your environment too. That persons would allow you to do that way, because I want to see you win. For me, my mantra is, if another woman is winning, then I'm winning also, because she's ahead of me. She's showing me how to get it done. And if it's happening for her, it just means it's only a few moments away from it begins to happen for me because it's in my neighborhood, but sometimes we don't embrace it that way. And that's what women were able to then start to pull apart. What's another great thing they also found out too is that word, that F word, forgiveness. They're struggling with it, forgiveness. They're struggling to not only forgive others, but really to forgive themselves because they've blamed themselves for so many things. You see, we put so much pressure on ourselves to be perfect, to be great, and it's okay because sometimes we don't want to ask for help because we think that if we ask for help, it's a sign of weakness, but that's a sign of strength. It's okay to say, you know what, I don't have it together. I need help. And that's fine, because when you do that, you're owning up to where you are, which helps you know to get the assistance that you need so that you can become greater.
You have literally dropped so much just in the short amount of time we have been on chatting.
Yeah.
So much to think about, so
Yeah.
much to take in. Just the fact of, like I said, the catering to yourself. And then you went into feeling guilty and feeling like the self catering is selfish, but
Yeah.
not understanding that that is an insecurity. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I want you all that's listening to take notes. And then I want you to go back and listen to this at least 5 more times. And we're not even done with the show. That's how important this is. This is vital, not just to your purpose and
Yeah.
where you're going, but this is vital to your immediate life right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kamisha talked about forgiving yourself, then putting on the oxygen mask. When you said that, so many of us have been trained to not put on that oxygen mask. But then at the same time, we've been trained to take care of everyone else. So, what does that mean? It means that we've been trained to deplete our own selves.
That's right.
And so, when we do that, then we are fighting against our own self, our own lives,
That's right.
our own ability to be alive, period.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It just became so clear because I'm sure we've all heard that put your oxygen mask on first.
Mm-hmm.
But when you think about it, if you have small kids or if you've ever had small kids, I just mentioned that my kid is 25, so I don't have, the small kids, but if I were to not put on my oxygen mask first, but I'm steady trying to save her, what good does that do?
Right.
So it can't be selfish to put on your oxygen mask first if you're going to walk in your purpose.
That's right.
Oh my goodness. Kimisha, tell us more about this because I told y'all this was going to be deep. I could feel it. I could feel it. I knew it was going to be deep.
Yep, yep. And you see, sometimes why another reason why we struggle with that too as well is because of what we come up seeing. So
Mm,
if you come up seeing your mom doing that, she's been everything to everyone without her having to teach you it, automatically you have accepted it. So now you start doing those things and you don't recognize that this step is going back way before you because she saw her mom do it and her mom saw their mom do it. And before you know it, everybody is doing it and everybody's taking care. And then that's where the problem lies because then this is not something that you're just dealing with a one person, you're dealing with a generational thing. And you have to be able not to identify and say, okay, I need to break this. Another thing that we recognize is that women were really suffering with celebrations, celebrating themselves. Like I mentioned earlier, they felt like, if I celebrate myself, people think that I'm being cocky, I'm arrogant, or they think that I'm too much out there, or they don't. So they're having challenges with people seeing them in the spotlight. And that was something that we had to deal with in those sessions and tell them, no, what's the reason? Why are you so challenged or fearful of being in the spotlight? Because if you're going to walk in your purpose, spotlight is going to shine on you.
yes. Oh
It's
my
your purpose,
goodness.
so the spotlight has to shine on you because your purpose is not only for you, your purpose is for other people. You're
Mm,
there to help others. It's not about you, but you can't help them until you help you. So you need now to identify the challenges that you are having with yourself so that you don't have a blockage. And that's what they had to go through. It wasn't easy. I have people who were crying, people when they started to write these things out, they could not believe that these were things that they were even struggling with. And it was all in a form where they could journal, and then they were taking themselves on these dates. So you have 7 days and you take yourself on those days, and in those days, every time you go on a date, you journal about it. You write your thoughts down, there are questions that you answer because we have a book attached to it, and you go through that. And when you go through that, it really gives you a lot of introspection because there's a lot of self-reflection, and you start to see the self that you thought you knew. And when you recognize, you're like, we got to do something about this. This is not it.
wow. Kamisha, I wanna kind of backtrack a little bit because you said something that was key. I do daily affirmations for those that support me throughout the internet.
Mhm.
And recently I did one where I said we have to clap for one another because it's so hard for people to clap for other people for
Yes.
some reason. We
Yeah.
know what the reason is, but we'll just say for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
But one of the things that you said was when I see another woman winning, she's shown me how to win.
That's right.
That is an amazing yet different perspective that
Yeah.
I don't hear people talking about. And the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because I often quote Oprah Winfrey said years ago, success leaves clues.
I love that one. Yeah.
So if you look at, and we're just going to be honest here, we're Black women. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if another Black woman is winning and success leaves clues,
Mm-hmm.
why would I not clap and pick up those clues?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying all out do some copyright fraud and things
Yeah.
like that. But what I'm
Definitely.
saying is
Yeah.
pay attention and see what's being done, or
Mm-hmm.
reach out and say, hey, are you offering mentoring or coaching?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
We should not be afraid to really express ourselves and say, listen, you're doing something that I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the flip side, those of us that get that where people are reaching out, be open to do it.
That's right.
I want you to talk a little bit about that, because I feel like you're the one to deep dive into this with, listen, all
Mhm.
gas, no brakes.
Definitely. You see, I think the reason why we're struggling with that so much is because we've been taught to keep everything together, have everything together. So if we have to go now to that lady, to that woman and ask for help, we think that we're showing that we're struggling, and nobody needs to know that we're struggling because we're perfect. That's the image that we want to paint. But so many people are painting a perfect image, but behind the scenes, they're struggling. That's why when you go on the internet and persons are watching people who are, they're posting on their social media platforms and their life looks super golden. And you start competing against that person, not know that that person is way off. They're in a place where they're worse than where you are at. And
Mm,
most times, if we come to that person now, we say, okay, can I get your help? We say, okay, everybody's going to know that I'm struggling. And because of that sense of pride, that proudness, I can't say that. And then you have on the other flip side of that individual, when persons come to them, they feel like, okay, I'm not sure if I should help them because then that person can become my competition. And I don't want anybody competing with me, as though you are in a role all by yourself. There's so many people who are doing the same things every time. But you got to know what you've been called to that helps you to stand out. You should never feel, like you are superior, to anyone
yeah.
else, because everybody has a role to play. Check your body. On our bodies, we have the hand, we have attached to the hand, they're the fingers, then they're the fingernails. You have every area of your body. But guess what? If my hand is hurt, the rest of the part of my body, the other parts of my body is going to suffer from it, because now I have to put pressure on the other hand, I have to put pressure on my
Mm,
feet and different parts of my body that I didn't recognize that I needed until one was down. Why? Because we're all linked together. It's important that we all went together and not that we separate ourselves. And it has been something that, and then look that you started with with the color black, that came from slavery, because that's how we've been taught, where you would see the only specific ones, the colored ones, those who are lighter shade, they seem to get a better preference than the others who are darker. And it has so much separation, and we have grown with that. And we really think that we have been broken free, but we're still in slavery in our minds. You see, the way how we see ourselves, that perspective that was given to us years ago, some of the things that we have let go of it, but we're still in it. We're still
mm,
in it. And my thing for women is to recognize that it's okay to ask for help. It's
mhm.
okay for me to see. I love that quote by Oprah Winfrey, success leaves clues. So you go to that individual, you ask for help, and when that individual comes and asks for help, it should be an honor that someone saw something in me to ask me
Mm.
those questions. I want to help you with every single thing that I know, because I know that I am helping to plant seeds. And what's going to happen? It's going to bear fruit. And at some
Wow.
that tree, is going to begin to blossom, because when I give you those things that I know, you're going to go on to help another individual, and it's going to spread like a wood fire. And before you know it, everybody is growing, everybody's winning together. And that's the perspective that women need to see.
I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. I was just so eager to really dive right in,
Yeah.
because like I said, I knew that this was going to be one of those conversations that really needed to be had, because this is a talking to with so much love,
Yeah.
but with direction and guidance. You
Mm-hmm.
know, if you remember back in the day, probably you may get, as a kid, you may get reprimanded or things like that. But sometimes you were not told on what to do right. You were just told on what not to do.
Yeah.
In this situation, Kamisha and I are coming to you and saying, we're popping your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're popping your hand and we're telling you what not to do, but then we're giving you the information on what you need to do, because it is so vital at this point in the game. We can't continue to do what we're doing and say that we're living our best life, we're being authentic, we're leveling up. All of these great mantras that come specifically at the beginning of New Year's, and we just end up doing the same thing the entirety of the year, and then take it into the following year, and we're literally recycling the
Mm-hmm.
same bad habits, the same bad just the exposure of all of it, it just continues on and on and on. Kamisha, are there any last words of wisdom? Oh, and I did forget, like I said, I got so excited to get this conversation started. I did not ask you where in the world you are.
Oh, I'm from the beautiful island of Barbados.
I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. So, any last words of wisdom that you want to leave with us and the listeners? And before you give us those last words of wisdom, I want everyone to fully understand that when I have guests on the show, when I'm doing these interviews, I'm not listening to this as, oh, girl, you need to tell them. It's not that. I take it myself as well. I'm listening on what I need to be doing to level up. How can this help me as well? I am partaking first and foremost. So I want everyone to understand that we're not pointing fingers. We're never pointing fingers. It's let's come together, see what needs to be done, and go from there. I had a conversation with a young woman this past week. I believe she was in the UK, and she was saying, um, she said, Karena, when I listen to your podcast, there are some things that are brought to light that I never even considered for my life. I never even thought about it. It was never on my radar. I didn't even know it was a thing, XYZ. So I want to share that today simply because sometimes you may know something but not know it. So, Kamisha, any last words of wisdom you want to leave with us?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I want to remind you guys that it's okay to say that you're not okay. And I'm not
Mm.
talking about the average, because we see that on social media, people posting those quotes, and it's just a thing. I don't want you to make it a thing. I want you to be authentic with yourself. Spend that time with yourself, reflect on yourself, be able to rediscover you, because at every level, you are going into different levels every time you're growing, you're evolving every season of your life. And you need to understand where you are at, because understanding where you are at helps you to understand who you are and who you've been called to be. And that helps you to be able to walk out your greatness. And you only get struggle with that when you don't know. You see, when the world keeps pulling you here and pulling you there, and you want to become this and become that, and you're not even sure what you've been called to be. So spend that time, get to know you, love on you, truly love on you, date yourself as though you've been courted by a guy. And this doesn't even have anything to do with relationship. It just means understanding who you are at the core. Because when you know who you are, nobody can tell you who you are, because you know, and you get to set the standard, and everything else begins to fall in line, because you have made the decision that you're going to pursue yourself so that you can meet the greater you on the inside, because there's more to you than what you're seeing right now. You're at surface level, and it's time to come up. All right. So that's what I would do. That's what I would advise those persons who are watching here to do. Spend some time with you.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Kamisha, how can we get in touch with you?
So you guys can follow me at Queen's Mindset on Facebook, on Instagram, and also on YouTube. We have a series called Battered, Bruised, Not Broken. And that's an amazing series. We have women coming on, they're sharing their stories of major adversities that they've been through and how they've overcome. So you want to be able to follow us there. And you can also go to our website at www.queensmindset.net. And that's where you'll find us.
I love it. Folks, we've had another great episode of Go Be Great, and we've had Kamisha King on. Remember, grab your notebook, your journal, your pen, your beverage of choice, and listen to this at least 5 times. At least. And then share it. Share it with your friends and share it with your frenemies, because everybody needs this.
That's right.
I love you all. Have a great day.